So this is the block that I lived on. And it's hard for me to sit here and really explain to you and for you to really feel what actually transpired that day. To say that I was in complete fear, it doesn't even do it justice. Honestly, I thought that I was about to die.
In a shootout tonight in Brooklyn, Gregory Scarpa Sr. was shot in the face right up the block from his Dyker Heights home.
My Sweet 16 was a really big deal. You could tell in the video how much he loves me.
According to police, Scarpa has been under house arrest, and he hadn't left his home in several months.
When I look at him like that, I just can't fathom the stuff that he did. And I just cannot believe that it's the same person. And it's so confusing for me to have to deal with that. Once my father had it in his head that he had to kill someone, he was doing it. This was our dining room table, and this is me hugging my father. I just loved hugging him. You could see whatever pictures me and my father were in together. It was not my mother holding my father, it was me holding my father. It just made me feel good, it made me feel secure. And I still have all those memories where I feel that sense of love and comfort from him. In that sense, he wasn't really much different than other fathers. But he had this rage in him. I used to refer to my father as the Hulk because I would see this man who was just like a regular man transform into like this big creature who was capable of like breaking everything and like destruction. Stuff that he's done. Sometimes I still can't even believe. When I talk about it and I say it out loud, I'm like, wow, did he really do that? That vicinity of 13th Avenue felt like it was ours. Like he ran that part of the neighborhood. Whatever restaurant we went to with my father, even the luncheonette, as soon as he walked through the door and we walked in the door with him, the red carpet didn't literally come out, but that's what it felt like. People that were higher up than my father were listening to him, not the other way around.
Well, look at that. Anything you want, it's on the house.
It wasn't like when you go into the diner and you say, can I please have a burger and fries? Stuff is just coming to you and, oh, what do you want, honey? You can have anything that you want.
Oh, there it is. Look at that.
Everything just felt like it belonged to us because we got treated like royalty in these places.
Thanks, Red.
I mean, they really let my father just do whatever he wanted. I didn't know why we were getting all these perks and royal treatment. I never really understood why. I just thought like, wow, my dad is something else, you know? So right now I'm standing in front of the Wimpy Boys Social Club. Why they called it the Wimpy Boys Social Club, I'll know, because nobody was wimpy in there. And whenever we would pull out, my father's friends would always greet us with hugs and kisses, and, you know, everybody just treated us really, really well. So this is an actual photo of my father hanging out in front of the club here. This is a surveillance photo. He was being watched at the time, and he doesn't look very happy. But the reason why I like this picture, even though it's a surveillance photo, is because it actually brings back, a memory of him and me, a little girl pulling up in front of the club and seeing him outside. I didn't really fully understand everything that was going on when I was real young, but my father definitely had a presence that stood out. He ran that neighborhood. Well, there was one time that I remember waking up and running down the stairs.
Whoa.
And seeing our dining room table full, and I mean from end to end, full of jewelry, covered. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And he's like, oh, Santa Claus came early. And I'm like, Santa Claus? I was touching everything at first and putting stuff on with it. And I had some questions because I was so confused.
What is all this?
Hey, don't you think you should be upstairs in bed?
But what is it?
All this?
Yeah.
Wow, this is my winnings.
Your winnings?
Yeah, my winnings.
And he says, I'm a professional gambler. I'm like, what? What's that? He's like, yeah, I gamble professionally. That's a real job. I said, oh, okay.
You like that one? Now it's yours.
Not funny, Dad.
I'm not being funny. When my daughter wants something, I make sure she gets it.
Thanks, Dad.
So I didn't think anything of it. I was still too young to really grasp what was happening. He definitely had a different personality than any of my friends' fathers.
John, what happened? Billy shoved me into the fence and told me to get off the field. I'm sick of him. He's always messing with me.
I'm not sure how old we were, but my brother had gotten into an argument with somebody on the block.
Hey, what did I hear you just say?
The kid kind of bullied him. And my brother came back and he was, huffing and puffing and he was all upset.
Nobody messes with a Scarpa.
But he's bigger than me.
Hey, stop it. When I tell you to do something, that's it. You do it. Axel, you wait right there.
And my father said, you go and you take this bat, and he gave my brother a bat. You go over there to that kid and tell him that you're going to hit him with that bat. And if you have to hit him with the bat, hit him with the bat.
And if he does it again, you hit him. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
So my brother went walking over there with the bat, thinking that this was what he was supposed to do. I don't know what happened. All I know is that our first experience with a bully is you go and hit the person with the bat. I got caught smoking pot with my friend.
Hey, Linda, get down here!
What's up, Dad?
I could not believe the beating that this kid had. I don't know how he survived that beating. If something happened that my father didn't agree with, somebody would get hurt. So then I would have to make new friends because those friends wouldn't want to stay with me anymore. They wouldn't want to hang out anymore. I got caught smoking pot with my friend.
You're late.
I'm sorry, Dad. I lost track of time.
Are you high?
Oh, Dad, come on.
Look at her, she's high.
My father was like, oh my God, she's high. I want to know who you were with.
It's not that big of a deal.
It is a big deal. Who gave you the drugs?
And I'm like, I'm not telling you who I was with. I wouldn't give up my friend.
Who gave you the drugs? I'm gonna find out who did this.
But he was determined to find out who I was with. The next day, my friend got beaten. Badly. I don't know how he survived that beating.
Hey, Linda, get down here!
His father came knocking on my door and said, why did you do this to my son? So my father said, you want to know why I did that to you? Come inside.
What's up, Dad?
You give my daughter drugs, then you're getting a beating. A bad one.
And it'll happen every time!
And I was like, oh my God. And my father says, you see, this is what happens when you do drugs with anyone, so you may want to think again before you do it. I looked at my friend, and he gave me the dirtiest look. And I was heartbroken. I mean, I knew that my best friend is gone. He's never gonna be my friend again.
I'm sorry. We should go.
I was just trying to be a kid. I just wanted to have fun.
Get out of my sight.
Needless to say, I really never did drugs after that. My 16 was a really big deal, and my parents were going to throw this really big party, almost like a wedding. I had a lot of my father's friends and their wives and family come. All these guys would be dressed in like the Fila sweatsuits, the velour suits, lots of jewelry, flashy, good looking. But a lot of the people that I invited, 2 tables of people didn't show up. They did say that they would come, but they never did. And I said to my father, is it me? Am I ugly? Like, why doesn't anyone want to talk to me? He's like, don't you get it by now? And I'm like, no, get what? Don't you understand who your father is? This is why they don't want to talk to you. It's not because you're ugly, you're beautiful. There's nothing wrong with you. They were afraid of my father. I wasn't really grasping that at the time. But at this moment, when we were called to dance together, that was probably the best part of the party for me, because I was dancing with my father and, how much he loved me. When I look at him like that, I just can't fathom the stuff that he did, and I just cannot believe that it's the same person. And it's so confusing for me to have to deal with that, because I want that back. How did he go from that to putting us in the line of, danger? We're getting picked up by car service to go to school every day.
Morning, Linda.
My brother was sick one day and he wasn't going to school. And the driver, he said, oh, why don't you sit in the front since you're by yourself today? I was like, okay. So I sat in the front and he was talking normal the whole ride. And then I realized that he was going into Prospect Park. And I said, where are you going? And he said, oh, don't worry about it. I have to take care of something. I'm like, okay, but it was feeling not right. It wasn't feeling right. When he stopped the car and there was nobody around.
What's going on? What are we doing here?
I knew that something was really wrong.
Oh, it's all right.
He just came on to me and I was freaking out.
I need to get to school.
This won't take long.
He took my hand and he pulled my shirt. This is bad. I'm gonna die. This guy's gonna rape me and he's gonna have to kill me. What is he gonna do with me after that? He's not gonna take me to school. This is really bad. So I said to him,
Wait. What's the rush?
listen, you don't have to do this. We could go somewhere after school. And he goes, what? And I go, if you pick me up after school, I could tell my parents that I'm going to my friend's house and we could be gone the whole day till the night. And we'll have so much fun. I had to make him believe this.
All right.
And he took me to school. And I remember calling my mother and saying in a panic, hurry up and come at me. I was like, hurry, hurry. So she came and she's like, what's going on? And I told her and she was crying. She was angry. She was livid. My father just lost it.
What'd you just say?
He's cursing, he's yelling.
Somebody touches you and that's it.
I knew something was gonna happen, right?
Honey, I'm so sorry. He grabbed me and I thought that was gonna be it.
What'd you just say?
My father just lost it.
Somebody touches you and that's it.
While I was in the house and I was saying I'm never going to school again, I'm never going out again, I'm afraid. My father went out and I was questioning. where he was. He came back and he told me that I never had to worry about him again.
Honey,
Yeah.
I just want you to know you'll never have to be afraid.
And I'm like, what do you mean, why?
What does that mean?
It means he's never coming back.
And he's like, he's gone. He's gone.
Good night.
He was in the newspaper the next day. I didn't want him to get killed. It bothered me that this happened to him, but I was taught that you don't call the cops. To me, the cops were the bad guys. This is what I was being taught. You don't get the cops involved. I was really torn up about it, and I carried that article in my wallet for a long time. Just the fact that he was dead was weighing on me. I felt the need that I needed to hold on to that. You know, no one knew that I had it, and sometimes I would go back and look at it. But eventually I had lost the wallet and lost the article, and I kind of just moved on. This is my father and Joe Brewster. I don't know how long it's been since I've seen a picture of Joe. He was just a really great guy. My father and Joe Brewster were really close. They had a really tight relationship. He was like an uncle. You know, he part of the family. Very loving, attentive, and caring towards us. But then Joe started to change. He started to drink heavy.
You're a good kid, Linda.
Thanks, Joe.
Even one of the last times that I seen him, I remember that he was really drunk. He wanted to change his life, to live a Christian life.
This work, it really eats you up. I don't want to do it no more.
I didn't want to do anything illegal anymore. But I didn't think anything. So Joe Brewster would come to the house quite often, and then he just wasn't there anymore, and I started to question where he was.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Linda.
Why doesn't Joe come around anymore?
And my father said that he died. And I'm like, he died? What do you mean? Like, how'd he die? You know, and he wasn't specific about how he died at all. I remember being very depressed about it and very sad. And I actually sat there and I said to myself, like, did my father kill Joe? I'm like, no, he would never do that. Like, Joe was like our family. I was trying to block out all of the bad things, you know, the beatings and hearing about all these people getting killed in the neighborhood. I was just trying to really just block it out. My earliest memory of Linda Vecchio was over the phone.
Hello?
I would answer these calls and he would say that his name was Mr. Dello, and he would ask for my father.
Dad!
Yeah.
Mr. Della's on the phone. He says he's coming right away. Hi, Dad. Let him know. Okay, bye.
What are you doing?
And one time my father said, you can't do that. You can't say that name in the house and yell it from upstairs. And I'm like, why? And he's like, you just can't do that.
You can't say that name out loud.
Okay, sorry. He says he'll be here in 15 minutes.
All right, go downstairs and lock the doors. Now!
I remember it was a holiday and Mr. Dello was coming to the house, so it was a big deal. Whenever Lynn would come to the house, everything had to be shut. All the blinds, the front door. No one was allowed out, no one was allowed in. It was a secret. would be told to go upstairs, and I would go upstairs, but I would stay at the top of my stairs, and I would listen.
So we moved down the avenue, we saw these guys, and there's 4 or 5 of them. I don't know what to say to them, but they were those guys you were talking about.
That was nothing really out of the ordinary for me.
What about the guys from the week before?
They're out.
But I knew that it was like something. My brother Joey only had a few tight friends, and one of them got into trouble. Him and my brother did something stupid out in the street, and it got back to my father that Patrick was being questioned by the police and that he was going to rat.
It's not gonna be all right. Rat is a rat.
My father ordered my brother to kill his friend. I was there for the conversation that my father had. Patrick was being questioned by the police.
He's a rat.
So my father ordered my brother to kill his friend.
It's not gonna be all right. Rat is a rat.
My brother told him, no way, I'm not doing that. He told my father, he's never gonna do that, Dad. He's not gonna do that. Stop. He's not, I don't want him to die. He's trying to defend his friend to my father.
Dad, it was a mistake. You both messed up. He crossed the line that was going to come back.
My father does not want to hear any of it. You have no choice. You have to kill him.
You kill him or I kill him.
Once my father had it in his head that he had to kill someone, he was doing it.
Look at me. Do we have an understanding on that or not?
We hated him for that. My father had him killed and made my brother watch. I'll never forget it because my brother was horrified. He cried in his room, and I had to watch my brother suffer for something that he never wants to happen. To watch his friend be shot like that and dumped in the street. This is Patrick Porco. To think that they would just disregard a body the way they disregarded it, like just dump it in the street like that. It makes me think about the suffering that he went through. But this was not anything abnormal at that time in that era, because bodies were being found like this all the time. I was like a rebel without a cause after that. I was just looking for any way out. And I had met someone. We dated for about a year, and then we got married. I really was not even that crazy about him, but I was already 4 or 5 months pregnant.
I'm pregnant. You're out running around like you're in high school.
We were real volatile towards each other. We were just not a good mix, and it was getting bad.
I hang out with my friends once and you start flipping out on
You
them.
just better take this seriously.
Don't treat me like a kid.
Don't behave like one.
Forget you.
Are you okay?
He's such a baby. He's so angry.
You know, I can get rid of him.
What?
So my father asked me permission to kill him.
Nobody hurts my daughter. They deal with me.
No. You can't hurt him.
And I told him, no, Dad, you can't do that. I couldn't live with that. You know, he asked me literally outright, I can't do this without your permission. I said no. This particular day, I left at the same time as my father. And I heard some popping sounds. I look up and I see men surrounding my father's car with black clothes black ski masks and guns shooting at him. I thought I was gonna die. I didn't know what was happening. Somehow my father got away. I was left there with all of these guys, and I remember being so scared. And one of the guys ran over to my car. I'm hunched down, and I remember looking up and seeing his eyes, and he looked right at me. At that moment, I'm thinking, are they gonna kill me? Everything's happening so fast, but yet it feels like it's taking forever. And he ran, and they left me. So this is the block that I lived on. It's hard for me to sit here and really explain to you and for you to really feel what actually transpired that day. To say that I was in complete fear, it doesn't even do it justice. I had zero control over my life at that moment. Honestly, I thought that I was about to die. That's when my panic attack started. Sometimes when I'm in a car, I get panic attacks. Loud popping sounds like that can cause flashbacks. We went from having no fear to having complete fear. There was constant fear. Fear that something would happen to my father. Fear that something would happen to my brother. But we were completely vulnerable. My mother gets to the door and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, they tried to kill Daddy. I don't know. I think Daddy's dead. I don't know. And I'm just like ranting and raving, going crazy. Next thing I know, my father walks into the door. He didn't know if I was alive, so he broke down and he was so emotional. He started to cry.
I can't believe you're safe.
Just the relief of seeing us, he just broke down. But as soon as my father got himself together, his emotions turned into rage real quick. He just stopped crying and he said, they're all gonna die. Every single one of them responsible for this. I was scared to death. Now he was out for pure revenge. Every night after that attempted hit on him, he was going out looking for people. And if he found someone, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. Tomorrow's another day. That's basically how it was. This one particular night, he found someone, and he pulled up alongside the guy and blew his face off.
You guys are not gonna believe it.
And when he came home, he was so pumped up and excited. He said to my mother, you'll never believe who I got. I blew his nose right off of his face. And I'm sitting on the couch watching TV and we're just looking at each other like, oh, the horror of that. My father just came home from killing someone. How do you deal with that? To have to accept it and go about our day. How do you do that? But we had to. People were dying in the street, but that's how I found out. Linda Vecchio was an FBI agent. And he was my father's handler. All those years, he was like James Bond, a secret agent. And that's why it was top secret.
How far exactly from the house can I go with this thing?
Greg, come on. Be happy I was able to keep you out of prison.
He should have went straight to jail, but because he had this man in his life, he was given that opportunity to be on house arrest. People say that my father worked with the FBI. It was like the FBI was working for him.
Listen, that's the way this thing works. I help you, you help me.
He had them here. And that's what made him so invincible to himself and why he thought that he could, do whatever he wanted to do.
Hey, Joey.
My brother comes home. He had an argument with some guys in the street, and they pulled a gun on him, and my father became enraged.
Oh, come on, what are you doing? What do you mean, what am I doing? We gotta go over there and show them. Teach Melissa, you don't treat a Scarpa like that.
There was no stopping him. They pulled a gun on his son, and they're gonna pay.
Turn around and let's go.
Dad, you're gonna go to jail.
This'll just take a minute.
He left the house and didn't care about the bracelet.
Dad, no, you can't leave!
I remember hearing the screaming and the shooting because it was only 2 blocks away. And I don't know what's happening. And next thing I know, the car pulls up. And my father gets out of the car covered in blood. He was like stumbling. And he had his hand like this. And I went to grab him and he said, "Don't touch me." He asked me for a towel. I got him the towel, and that's when I noticed that his eye was gone. He was shot in the eye. I was frantic. "Oh my God, Dad, what happened? You need an ambulance." And he said, "No, I don't need an ambulance."
Hello?
The phone rang because his bracelet was going off, and they asked for my father.
Yeah, this is Greg.
And he got on the phone as if it was just a regular day. And meanwhile, he has no eye. I said, "You need to get to the hospital." And he said, "Have somebody take me." So I went and called one of his friends, and it was over.
Cops say there's been an ongoing feud within the reputed Colombo mob family, and believe the alleged Colombo capo was the target.
He was a mobster. Here's this person that I know all of this stuff about, but I didn't have that word, mobster. I was surprised that he was actually a gangster. I knew he was a tough guy, but I never ever imagined. We're in the midst of a huge war within the Colombo crime family.
In a shootout tonight in Brooklyn, Gregory Scarpa Sr. was shot in the face right up the block from his Diker Heights home. Investigators are now trying to figure out if this was part of the feud.
There was tension between the two sides of the family. So, friends are killing friends. He was not the only hitman for the Colombo family, but he was the hitman for them. If they needed to get something done, they know who to go to. That was him. They would call him the Grim Reaper or the Killing Machine.
In the past 14 months, more than 10 people have been killed in the fight for control of the Colombo crime family.
I don't know how many people he killed, but there have been reports where they have said that he stopped counting at 50. You're hearing all this stuff in the news about mobsters, you hear all these different names, but I wasn't thinking my father was that type of person too.
Scarpa is due to face federal racketeering charges if he survives his gunshot wound.
It's very confusing to love someone who's capable of murder, because you want to love this person unconditionally. And I did love my father unconditionally. I just didn't want to picture my father to be the one to do it. I was supposed to go and see him that weekend. My father called the house from prison, and he said to me, "I don't know if I'm going to be here. I don't know if I'm going to make it." And I said, "No, Dad, you have to. I'm coming to see you. Just hold on." He died, I think, like 2 days after. Hold on. my father lived his life, you know. I feel that my brother never got to live his life, so if I could have one of them back, it would be my brother. This grave was supposed to be for my mother and my father. So to see my father and my brother's name here, this wasn't supposed to be. Every once in a while, if I'm having a really bad day, I'll just like yell at my father, blame him for everything under the sun. But my father is who he is and was who he was. And there was no changing that. I feel lost without both of them. The crimes that my father committed, I still feel the weight of them. Even though 23 years have passed, I still have all of these memories vividly, and they'll never go away. It's not like one day I'm gonna wake up and they're gonna be gone. They're always there. I don't think that I will ever heal from them. I have to try to keep going on, but it's gonna be a really long road for me for the rest of my life.